Welcome to Go with the Flow. Vernetta Lopez here with you, January 5th. It's a Monday. Let's face it, Friday was not a work day. I mean, come on. Really? Are you kidding me? It's like, yeah, right. After celebrating New Year's Day and then come back to work and then it's the weekend. Who's going to take that seriously? So welcome to the real first day of work and the real first day of school. I think a lot of parents are going, oh, thank God. Don't let the kids hear this. Just kidding. So, anyway, National Keto Day today. That's right. So, this was accidentally stumbled upon in the late 1800s. If you don't know what keto is, it's like I wouldn't say it's a fad diet. I think it's a diet that a lot of people actually live on, rely on, use to lose weight, to also be healthy. And if you combine it, apparently, if you combine it with intermittent fasting, it's actually a very good, clean way to let your body reheal. Let autophagy take over. I'll try to explain autophagy later on. But okay, so National Keto Day stumbled upon in the late 1800s. They were doing keto back then. Oh my, that's so like trendy. The first known predecessor of the keto diet was discovered by a man in England, William Bunting. Bunting, okay. Found he was becoming obese. Well, with a name with the word bun in it, or Banting, sorry, Banting. He took things into his own hands and began limiting what he ate. Now, he did not starve himself, no. He just reduced it to small amounts of meat, some vegetables, and the occasional cup of tea. What did he cut out though? Bread, sugar, beer, and potatoes. Oh, my favorite things. Well, not really, but yeah, you know what I mean. Starch. How do we live without it? But we don't have to. I mean, there are many proponents of other diets who say you don't have to cut it all out. And I think you don't, because part of me thinks the body wants a balance, right? But I think for a short period of time and for a purpose, maybe you can do this, right? But at the same time, others say that is the way to go. So you do your own research. But I'm just letting you know that this guy, William Bunting, he didn't expect that he would lose more than 50 pounds on this eating regimen. Wow. And check this out, the ketogenic diet was originally developed as a treatment for epilepsy. Yeah. It was created by Dr. Russell Wilder at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. Wow. And until the 1930s, when anticonvulsant medications appeared, they were actually using ketogenic diets as a way in regulating epilepsy. Wow. And apparently, this keto diet is continued right now till today to be used as a way to control epilepsy in pediatric patients and others with pharmacological resistance. So people who say, I don't like pills. My body say I don't want pills no more. Okay. National Keto Day. How do we celebrate? Cut down your bread. In fact, keto, you no bread, no sugar. I used to be on it before. I lost a good amount of weight healthily because I was definitely eating a lot more vegetables, getting my protein. I should have continued a bit more, but then, birthdays and Christmases and all that come along. I'm not blaming it, but I'm using it as an excuse. Okay, so I would say something to do moderately, and also after checking with your doctor. I mean, this is something you don't want to just anyhow whack, right? So, and you got to do it the right way. No point if you are going to, I think the first time I heard it actually was a lot of fats, butter in my coffee, butter and everything. And it's like, be very careful because you don't want to overdo too much. And then if you suddenly go back to a bit of sugar, then all you're doing is you're just trapping weight in your body. Now, don't ask me for the details. I'm not an expert, but if you do protein and vegetables, it's you're on a good course, and it's a little bit of potato and starch. If you do it with vegetables, this was one of my favorite diets actually because I get to eat some rice. Okay, which is you get vegetables as your staple. All right, so your meals are vegetables and protein, and then vegetables and your starch. You never mix the protein with the carbs. Yeah. So what happens is the thought behind it is your digestion will appreciate it. And I liked it because, first of all, I get to eat rice and noodles. Give me a break. But daytime, I would like to eat my vegetables and rice and a bit of noodles or something. And and tofu is protein, right? Yeah. So also not counted. So you have to do your just vegetables, which is fine. You're getting your fiber, and then and you use the energy during the day. You're moving a lot more, unless you are more active at night. Then you would do the vegetable and starch at night. But then I would do vegetable and vegetable and protein in the nighttime, because then I don't have to try and work so hard to work off all that sugar in the starch. You following me here so far? I'm so sorry if it's just too technical, but yeah, that's basically a great way I found to lose a bit of weight, because you're not holding so much starch in your body at night. Anyway, speaking of keto, that Yong Tao Fu article, I mean, people were just very upset recently because on Christmas Eve last year, 2025, um, a Stomp article took issue with the stall's pricing, saying that, oh, longevity alone does not guarantee value. Ouch. Okay, so this was about the Yong Tao Fu stall that was at Topayo. I think technically this is the month that they're closing down. And so it was very hurtful, I think. Hap Chong Yao, Hap Chong Yong Tao Fu at Block 203, Topayo North. They're going to be closing this month. And so this particular writer at Stomp, I think got a little bit too, felt a bit personal, I would say. But then again, that's Stomp, right? So um, the article noted that the price of the ingredients increased from 60 cents per piece to 80 cents each, with premium pieces priced at $1 each. It didn't mention, though, that the price increase was the only increase in 10 years, according to the stall owner. Article also says she braced herself before buying. Okay, so you manage your perception, albeit still with the foundation that, oh, this is expensive, that's why I'm bracing myself. But you were not shocked. This is what I'm saying. Okay, now if we all change our perception, i.e., hawkers have to keep up with inflation or die standing and work just to pay rent, how can we keep supporting? Then we can keep supporting hawkers without our eye rolling and tisking. You know what I mean? If we change the way we looked at how we expect prices to be at a hawker, then we wouldn't get this kind of article or this feeling of, and I know many people out there are going, yeah, very expensive, these places, the hawkers shouldn't be so expensive. That is the perception. But, I think what they should do is, once the rent and whatever else goes up, right, all these hawkers, right, they have to, I think they should put up a sign saying, they up the price, so we have to as well. Anyway, I don't know, maybe some places do. Writer then pointed out the premium that is $1, the premium items, right? But basically saying the items are not worth it because they were infused with cheese or processed items I can find in my fridge, quote unquote. Well, commenters, of course, said, then you go home and cook lah. Huh? Can find your fridge, right? Go and eat lah, at home. People take time to set up this thing and make the soup for you, the broth and all that. And there were other details in the quality of the food, which maybe we'll explain later. Well, okay, I'll explain now. For example, premium pieces, right? We're talking about meat, some of the fish items that had meat as well to fill it up to make it a bit more bigger and more premium. Other places might have used only starch or MSG or whatever. MSG is not that bad, by the way. But they were using more protein, i.e. more value in their items. Maybe that's why this is a bit more premium as well. And then she also said that the portions used to be bigger. That's just maybe because she was a regular back then. Well, she's talking about the noodles, I suspect, because that's if she's a regular and then that's why the portions were bigger. And you're just talking about the noodles, right? Because that's the only variable, I think, mostly, when it's at the point of purchase. Yeah. Anyway, many things used to be bigger. And your fast food burgers, ikan kuning used to be bigger. The Turkish Delight I recently ate also used to be bigger. Yeah. But the rice portions, I find in a lot of places, the noodles, no problem. They just pile it on. Did you know, I feel it's so difficult to harvest rice. And people just waste rice like nobody's business, or they just pile it on and then knowing that people just might waste it. Why? Because they're trying to fill up the whole perceived value, maybe, I don't know. But don't forget, many brands, yeah, they keep the price the same, but they give smaller quantities, which I guess this person is thinking, oh, this is what's happening here. But look at the value really with the items that she called premium, yeah? Because it might be a bit more premium than you think. Anyway, so she said then that amount for lunch at a stuffy coffee shop in the heartlands is indeed not cheap, even when you take rent, labor, and overhead costs into consideration. So you think that the rent, labor, and overhead costs are not high? Is that what I'm getting from that sentence? I think the sentence should be, I think that lunch at a stuffy coffee shop in the heartlands is cheap, even when you take rent, labor, and overhead costs into consideration, because they have not kept up with inflation. Not many, I feel. Some places even offer budget options, etc. I mean, how are they doing at the back end? They're still providing it somehow. So anyway, the stall owner, after 10 years, within 10 years, only 20 cents up. I think that's crazy, right? I mean, they're trying to keep their customers as well. I mean, there's a huge competition out there. Um, let's see. Now, experts point to rising rents, increased labor costs, competition, changing consumer habits. Sure. But you see, while hawker centers are deeply woven into Singapore's identity, they say, they are not charities. And stall holders ultimately do not owe the public cheap meals at the expense of their own livelihoods. You know? Yeah, they want to keep it low cost as opposed to an aircon restaurant, but you can't expect them to not match inflation and then what, die standing doing this job. This particular person, Lim, on Facebook said he can forgive ignorance about food costs, talking about the writer, but not what he described as a lack of compassion in writing off a 40-year hawker business over what he viewed as a relatively small expense. KF Sito, food critic and hawker culture advocate, said hawkers should not be expected to absorb rising costs simply to satisfy demands for cheap food. So he listed expenses including utilities, maintenance, ingredients, labor, and rent, saying hawkers typically spend about 70 cents for every dollar earned. That's a lot they give you. And Sito said that while freedom of expression allows people, sure, to comment on prices, such views should be exercised responsibly. True, whatever you say can affect the business of and the livelihood, the literal rice bowl of these people. You say something so horrendous, it's like, wow, at least give a fair, balanced view without the snarkiness, right? I mean, because that seems a little bit more, in a negative. Obviously, it was a very negative article. A lot of people felt it. So for me, two things, I think, like many commentators, right, we expect cheap, but we pay at expensive restaurants, right? And generally without outward backlash. I mean, like they said, these hawkers are not charities, right? So we ourselves, right, we expect higher salaries, but they are not expected to raise prices without a huge backlash. You know what I mean? Because price of something is their salary. The price of their item is their salary, is their rice bowl. Meanwhile, again, restaurants, they have way higher prices. And many with local hawker fare sometimes, and we frequent those places too. Yes, I said frequent. That's how you say it when you go to a place often. Anyway, both ways I say it, it's fine. Anyway, we frequent those places too. The expensive hawker fare in restaurants and whatnot, in hotels, etc. Right? And what's the sentence that many will say when they have hawker food at a restaurant? Yeah, you can get better ones at a hawker center, right? Then why are we still there at the restaurant paying for hawker price? Because we say, okay, we'll pay it this once. Why can't you have that same attitude at a hawker center? We still don't expect the hawker to match prices with inflation, even though. Because why? We say hawker centers, we'll go there more often than we go to an expensive restaurant with local fare. Okay, fair enough. But we still go there, what? And again, it comes down to inflation. You cannot expect a hawker to just never increase their prices. Why? And I think a lot of people already have adapted and accepted that hawker food is going to be a bit more expensive, right? So yeah, we lament also, by the way, that hawker culture is dying. Shouldn't we be supporting then all these businesses, encouraging new generations to continue if we cherish such dishes? Why are we still insisting the prices stay so low? I mean, we have to be realistic a bit lah. I mean, it feels painful, but just change the perception. If we do that, then there's no problem one. Then we say, okay, we understand everything's gonna be a bit higher. And okay. But this particular writer was just a little bit, as they put here, mildly confrontational, according to Seth Louis. So for me, the other thing is be kind. Why did it have to be that kind of almost, I wouldn't say passive aggressive, or like, I slapped you one time, but I'm still kind here. But then mostly I slapped a bit more, but maybe a half a soothing touch. It wasn't. It was everybody got the same feeling. Wow, that was aggressive, right? It was kind of unnecessary, slight snarkiness, I should say, and almost be good kind of undertone of the article. So adapt, yeah, we all need to adapt hawker prices. And then she also said, oh, this hawker center, this hawker stall owner needs some self-reflection. Well, I'm sure that writer has had a few days and more than a few comments and opinions to do just that. Do some self-reflecting lah. Don't have to be unkind to give a comment. Anyway, if you like hawker food, we always lament about them closing down, and yet we expect the price to never increase. So, what's the solution? Raise our own salaries. Yes, then there's no problem to pay all these hawkers their prices, right? So all the employers, yeah, everybody gets a raise this year. Let's go. So anyway, let's help the hawkers continue to exist, okay, and encourage others to continue the business. We've had so many young stories of young people taking over the business, and so encouraging. But the article says, yes, but I think I might think about closing down next year. I'm like, as long as it tastes good, keep going. We love you, and then we'll pay the price that is fair. Yes, no icon, but let's match it with the fact that it's good. We always say it's better than in the hotel or restaurant, right? So give them what they're worth. Yeah. Okay, that's it for me today. And remember, like and subscribe and share, Ken. Thank you. And turn on the notifications and find me on Spotify as well. All right. I'm going to eat some yong tau fu now. Yeah.